Website, Dave, focuses and kind of puts a spotlight on your workshop, right? You have a big kind of in the main navigation, it says workshop. Is that the main offering that you have, or are there other offerings? Like, kind of take us through what are the different product services that you provide to the marketplace?
Most of the work that I do with organizations starts with a 2-day strategic planning session. So usually somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, Dave, I've read your work. I've seen you speak. Like I said, I do some keynote speaking. Would love for you to work with me and my team on helping some longer term planning." And in spending those 2 days together, we do two things. One, we create a plan for the next 12 months for the team, or we review their current plan and make changes to it if necessary. But secondly, it gives me the opportunity to assess how well that team functions together and where some of the issues and the challenges are. You know yourself that a good strategic plan is only as good as the people that are there to implement it. And one of the biggest downfalls or where strategic plans falter is if the leadership team isn't developed enough. They don't have the skill set or the tools to really build an implementation rhythm, or they don't have the ability to assess new inputs into their world, to make changes or tweaks to that plan as they go along. And so after those 2 days, I usually come back and say, okay, well, here's the plan that you built. Looks great. And also here are my thoughts on how this team works together. Here are where some of the strengths are, here are where some of the development issues are. And at that point, then I engage a conversation that says, do you want some assistance on helping to address those? Because ultimately that's where this is going to succeed.
Right. And so that strategic session, is that the workshop? It's essentially like a 2-day workshop. Got you. And how do you find that most people reach out to you to begin the conversation of the workshop just by coming to your website? Is it that they've read, some of your content? I know you have some, you're a columnist, or you publish on Inc. Or is it through your keynote speaking? Like, which is the channel that you find drives most of the inquiries and kind of leads coming into your world?
Mostly it's through speaking. Secondly, it's through reading the book, and third, it's through referrals. So it's all in. There's all a degree of warmth there. I don't get a lot of cold folks calling and saying, "Hey, I stumbled across your website, let's talk." There's right. Usually a degree of education that's happened.
Gotcha. Okay, so either they're reading, there's a referral, they see you speak, then they contact you. There's a 2-day workshop. That's kind of like what in our world we often describe as a discovery offer, a starting point. And then from there, you're identifying and providing recommendations for the client and ways to assist them. And that would then turn into a full engagement. Is that correct? Like,
yeah, that would be a longer term engagement. And so there's usually some version of, okay, there's some team assistance. So how do we build, an implementation rhythm and ensure that your team has the skill set to make high quality decisions for the organization? Or there may be a recommendation for some ongoing one-on-one coaching with either the CEO, the president, or some other folks on the executive team to try to help glue all of that together. And that ends up being a longer term engagement.